Hey folks, Eric here from DirtyLittleSneakers.com, and I've been running in the ASICS Cumulus 23 for a few months, and I've got a bunch of miles under my feet, and I'm excited to share my thoughts with you today. Real quick note on transparency, ASICS did send me these kicks, but I am not getting paid for this review, and they are not seeing this video before I post it, so essentially you're seeing it at the same time that ASICS does, and I'm not beholden to anybody for what I'm going to tell you today. So first, as always, let's go through the basics. The Cumulus is a neutral shoe, and they're going to cost you $120 and come in at 9.9 ounces. So while not as heavy as, say, something like the Nimbus, these are still going to come in on the heavy side because of all of the structure ASICS put into this. In that vein, this is a cushioned shoe. In fact, they are more cushioned than the 22s from last year, but I get ahead of myself. The midsole stack is going to come at 23 millimeters and then go down to 13 millimeters in the forefoot, giving them a, say it with me, 10 millimeter drop. Oh, hey, real quick, before we get too deep into it, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button below, it'll just get this up into the algorithm a little bit more, and it'll just get it into more eyeballs, some people who are looking to find out about the Cumulus 23s, and it would do great things for the video and great things for the channel, and I would definitely appreciate it. All right, back to the shoe. Now, I do want to take a minute and talk about something that really confuses me when I do talk about the midsole and the drop in shoes these days. When I measure the midsole with my calipers, I get wildly different numbers. So a while ago, I asked ASICS about that, and here's what they told me. Measuring midsole stack height gets pretty tricky as almost all brands measure differently. Some will measure including the sock liners, while others don't. And some companies will measure only the tooling that they use to create the midsole. And that's going to produce much lower numbers than other brands in the market. Pick your own method, publish it, and then maintain it. So hearing that from the brand, this is telling me that measuring midsole stack height is more of an art than it is a science. But I'm still confused about where to measure from. Is it the highest part of the midsole and then the lowest part? I wonder if I cut the shoe down the middle with a bandsaw and measured from the middle, my measurements would match, or at least come close. Something to consider for a future video. The midsole is made from ASICS Flightfoam, which has been the ASICS midsole material of choice for a number of years now, and it offers a really cushioned ride without feeling mushy. This year, ASICS extended the Flightfoam layer to a full-length bottom layer, which is going to provide a bit more cushioning than last year, and ASICS claims a smoother ride than previous years. I will admit to liking these a lot more than last year, and in fact have liked the Cumulus more and more over the years. I think the first year I ran in them was like 2015 or 2016, and I feel like the brand has invested more and more in R&D into them every year. So let's talk a little bit about that R&D and how it's showing itself in this shoe. Now, there is a bit of gel on the outside of the heel for a softer land, and this year ASICS added what they're calling the 3D space construction for a bit more cushioning and a smoother ride. And this is a bit of that R&D that I was talking about before. So what does that mean? Now, 3D space construction is exactly what it sounds like. ASICS created some what I consider negative space in the midsole, essentially hollowing out a portion of the midsole in the rear of the shoe that looks like kind of a honeycomb. So it's not just a big old hole in the midsole, it's actually a honeycomb design with some negative space inside the honeycomb. In the men's version, they used the honeycomb midsole in the heel, and in the women's version, they added it to under the forefoot. Why did they do this? This is for a few reasons. First, it offers the opportunity to remove some weight. Never a bad thing in my book, as long as durability isn't sacrificed, and only time will tell in this shoe. For both genders, it softens the impact on the heel. And the reason the women's version has it in the forefoot, now it's going to help the forefoot deform on push-off, which when it snaps back, gives the shoe propulsion. Now, the reason it's not in the forefoot of the men's version is that according to ASICS, men are heavier and can create enough force to deform the midsole and give it that snap. A side note, it's the same technology along with the midsole shaping in the Gel Cumulus Light that offers the ability to remove all of the plastic components, making it lighter and achieve similar levels of stability and propulsion. So like last year, the 23s have a 3D printed upper that really conforms to your foot. It's also super breathable, which you know is important as we get into the warmer months. Now the toe box is a bit snug, but not constricting, as is the heel cup. Now the outsole is made from the ASICS high abrasion rubber, or as they call it, AHAR, which has a boatload of cuts this year and is used a lot more sparingly than it has in past years, which may account for the 1/10 of an ounce in weight reduction. I'm joking, of course, but the rubber outsole on shoes is some of the heaviest material used in construction. And if companies are looking to drop weight, this is one of the first places they're going to find it. So what are these kicks good for? I can use them for drills, midweek runs, and long training runs. Now, I would even consider these for long races where I'm not trying to PR, but I usually stick with the Nimbus for those days. Anyway, nice job, ASICS. That's about it, folks. If you're interested in getting a pair of the Cumulus when they become available on Amazon, I will put a link below, but know that it goes to my Amazon associate account. So I will make a couple of shekels off each of those purchases, but no charge to you. And if you like this video, please smash that like button below, get it up into the YouTube algorithm a little bit more. And if you like gear reviews, race reviews, or anything endurance sports related, I'm your guy. Please hit subscribe and the bell next to it so you get notified when I put new videos up just about every week or so. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.